Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 3 problems the Commanders must fix before Week 10 game versus Steelers. What NFL team has defied expectations by soaring to the top of its division at the midpoint of the 2024 season? It's not the Washington Commanders. The Pittsburgh Steelers. They were supposed to struggle to keep up in the highly competitive AFC North this year. In 2023, every team in the division finished with a winning record. All of the other franchises looked more exciting on paper. Even so, head coach Mike Tomlin is just doing what he always does. He is finding ways for his team to win more than they lose. The Steelers are currently 6-2, a half game clear of the Baltimore Ravens in the division. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? There are still plenty of doubters who believe that the Steelers' strong start has been achieved with smoke and mirrors. They point out that Tomlin's crew has only taken the field once against a team that had a winning record when they played. Or that the combined record of their opponents this year currently sits at 30-40. Pittsburgh's best wins over the Atlanta Falcons, Denver Broncos, and Los Angeles Chargers came in the first 3 weeks. Since that game in Week 3 versus Jim Harbaugh's squad, the Steelers have not faced an opponent with a winning record. That changes when they travel to Northwest Stadium on Sunday. Tomlin always has his team ready. If the Commanders hope to improve to 8-2, they will have to play a very solid game. With that being said, here are 3 problems the Commanders must resolve beforehand. The Commanders are coming off a tough game against a talented New York Giants defensive front. It gets even tougher this weekend. Cameron Hayward doesn't seem to be slowing down at 35 years old. He remains one of the dominant interior defensive linemen in the league. Edge rusher T.J. Watt is once again among the NFL sack leaders and tackles for loss. Those stars are ably supported by emerging players like Nate Herbig, Elandon Roberts, and Alex Highsmith. The Steelers can pressure opposing quarterbacks without becoming overly reliant on the blitz. Their blitz percentage is among the NFL's lowest, yet they harass opposing quarterbacks as well as any defense. That has also resulted in interceptions. By generating pressure with just 4 rushers and keeping 7 defenders in coverage, Pittsburgh has picked off opposing quarterbacks 10 times through 8 games, 3rd best in the league. It will be more difficult to give help to individual linemen against Pittsburgh because the Steelers have so many talented players across their front 7. Washington's offensive line has been a bright spot so far this season and will need one of its best games if the offense is going to put up points. 5 things to know about new Steelers Wr. Mike Williams. The Pittsburgh Steelers and general manager Omar Khan did it. They finally added a wide receiver who can be considered a starter. The Steelers acquired Mike Williams from the New York Jets on Tuesday. He's been in the headlines a bit this season thanks to his rocky relationship with Jets QB Aaron Rodgers. But who is he really? Williams attended Lake Marion High School in Santee, South Carolina. It was there that he got noticed by colleges such as Alabama and Clemson before signing the Tigers. But he wasn't just a football player as he played basketball as well. Basketball was my first love, Williams said during an interview on What's in the Box, for Whistle. I played all throughout high school. And even on the football field, he wasn't always just a wide receiver. He played quarterback and running back as well, before focusing entirely on wide receiver as a junior and senior. And once Williams made the commitment to wide receiver, he became a legend at Lake Marion. As a junior, his first season, mostly, fully focused on wide receiver, he caught 66 passes for 1,296 yards and 11 touchdowns. That's 19.6 yards per catch. Then as a senior, he had 60 catches for 1,395 yards and 10 touchdowns, 23.3 yards per catch. So Williams has always been a big play guy dating back to high school. Lake Marion retired Williams' number 7 jersey in 2018. "It feels good, man," said Williams during an interview with ABC 25 in Columbia, South Carolina. Everything started here on this football field. Felt like I did everything I possible could for this school, gave everything I had to this school. As for why I wrote, mostly, fully focused, Lake Marion had Williams line up at quarterback a few times as a junior. He completed 20 passes for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns that season. Even though Williams played in South Carolina for both high school and college, he started his NFL career on the West Coast. He was selected 7th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft by the Los Angeles Chargers. For context, it's approximately 200 miles from Santee, South Carolina, to Clemson University. It's over 2,400 miles from Santee to SoFi Stadium, home of the Chargers. But even though Williams was on the opposite side of the country, he still cared deeply about his hometown. And in 2018, Williams held his first football camp at Lake Marion. "Everybody knows me out here. It's all good vibes," Williams during an interview with ESPN's Kyla Burns-Hefner. "I feel like I am that example for the community, so I'm just going to live up to it." And the camp isn't just about football either. In 2021, Williams gave away backpacks and school supplies to the kids with the intention of helping them be successful in the classroom, too. "I was always taught school first," Williams said during an interview with WIS10. "My coaches always told me if I didn't have the grades, then I couldn't make it out." Williams cares about helping all of the kids of his hometown, whether they're going to be football players or not. He remembers being a kid in Santee as well, wanting something just like this. "I always wanted someone to look up to in the community, come back and host camps for me and my homies," Williams said. "I didn't have that. I wanted to come out here and start this tradition." Pittsburgh Steelers tried to land superstar WR with Russell Wilson connection before trade deadline. The Pittsburgh Steelers went out of their way to scour the earth for wide receiver help, but before acquiring Mike Williams to fill that void, the team tried to pry away DK Metcalf from the Seattle Seahawks. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN said that he believed the Steelers were one of the teams that tried to trade for Metcalf, but that they were told he was not available. "I believe Pittsburgh was one of the teams to check on Seattle's DK Metcalf, which was a non-starter for the Seahawks." The Steelers also looked into potentially trading for the Giants' Darius Slayton. This comes on the heels of a near deal for Christian Kirk before his injury and attempts to acquire Devontae Adams and Brandon Ayuk. After an exhaustive search, the Steelers were determined to walk away with help at a key position, Fowler wrote. The Steelers tried to land Metcalf and had called multiple times. Russell Wilson's former number 1 WR late in his tenure with the Seahawks, Metcalf, would bring plenty of size and speed to a unit that loves to attack teams vertically. However, this never ended up working out because the Seahawks asked for an insane amount of draft capital to pry Metcalf out of their hands. So, instead, the Steelers acquired Williams, who will size and contested catchability to the unit. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of DK Metcalf? Leave your opinion in the comments.